What happens when a Korean crime lord trusts a black woman everyone underestimated to protect him against 60 professional assassins in one night? It sounds impossible, doesn't it? Like something straight out of an action movie. But what I'm about to tell you actually happened. And the way it unfolded left an entire compound covered in unconscious bodies, a decades-long CIA conspiracy exposed, and two broken people discovering that love can emerge even from the deepest betrayal. Welcome back to Mafia Black Stories. If you enjoy stories about extraordinary people defying impossible odds, about trust forged in fire, and about love emerging from the most broken beginnings, make sure to hit that subscribe button and ring the bell so you never miss an episode. Trust me, today's story has everything: conspiracy, action, betrayal, and a romance that will make you believe in second chances. Picture this: you're sitting in a cramped Singapore apartment, living under your seventh fake identity in 3 years. Every shadow feels like a threat. Every footstep in the hallway makes your hand drift toward the weapon you keep within reach. You're not paranoid. You're experienced. Because the people who think you're dead are the same ones who'll kill you the moment they realize you're not. Then an unmarked envelope slides under your door. Inside is a funeral program. Professional quality. Embossed lettering. And there, centered on the page, is your photograph. Your real name. Jade Walker. Date of death, Guatemala City, 3 years ago. Cause, killed in action during Operation Serpent's Tooth. But here's the problem: you're very much alive. You remember every second of that night. The explosion that tore through your teen's safe house. The screams cut short. The smell of burning flesh. You remember clawing your way through rubble, lungs burning, ears ringing. You remember the CIA drone circling overhead like a vulture, its camera watching you struggle but not helping. And you remember Director Vincent Kane's voice crackling through your emergency radio with words that still echo in your nightmares: cleanup complete. No survivors. Good work, Ghost. Except Ghost survived. And for 3 years, she's been running. Now someone knows she's alive. Someone sent her own death certificate to her door. But there's more. Clipped to the funeral program is a handwritten note in elegant script, half in Korean, half in English: they're still looking for your body. Why? Because you saw something they can't let surface. Come to Seoul. Protect me for 6 days during the Blood Moon Festival. Survive, and I'll pay you $10 million plus something worth infinitely more: the truth about what really happened in Guatemala. Your death ends when mine doesn't. Come alone. Trust no one. Han Tai-sung. Beneath the note is a photograph that makes Jade's blood run cold. It shows Director Kane shaking hands with an elegant Korean woman at what appears to be a diplomatic function. Both are smiling. The date stamp reads 3 years ago. Written on the back in the same handwriting: my wife. Dead in a car accident 3 days after this photo was taken. Kane killed her. He'll kill you too if you don't act first. Jade stares at the material spread across her bare apartment floor. Every instinct screams that this is a trap. But traps can be turned. And after 3 years of running, of looking over her shoulder, of wondering when the kill team would finally come, maybe it's time to stop being prey. She books a flight to Seoul. Not because she trusts Han Tai-sung. Not because $10 million means anything to someone who can't spend it without being found. But because somewhere in Seoul, Director Kane's secrets are waiting. And if she's going to die anyway, she might as well take the truth with her into the light. What Jade doesn't know yet is that the invitation isn't just a trap, it's the most elaborate conspiracy in modern intelligence history. That the 60 assassins converging on Seoul aren't really coming for Han Tai-sung at all. That she's about to walk into a web of betrayal so deep, it will rewrite everything she thought she knew about Guatemala, about Kane, about who can be trusted. And most impossibly, most unexpectedly, she's about to discover that sometimes love doesn't bloom despite the darkness. Sometimes it blooms because two people, both broken beyond recognition, choose to forge something real from the shattered pieces of their past. The blood moon rises in 6 days. 60 killers are already on their way. And Jade Walker, the ghost who refused to stay dead, is about to discover that survival was only the beginning. The real battle is for redemption. For truth. And for a love neither of them saw coming. Seoul's skyline glitters like broken glass beneath Jade's taxi window, but her eyes are locked on the fortress rising from the hills. Han Tai-sung's compound isn't just wealthy, it's a statement. All sleek glass and steel architecture that somehow manages to look both ultramodern and impenetrable. Her photographic memory catalogues everything automatically. 14 entry points. 37 guards in designer suits trying to look like staff. Overlapping camera coverage disguised as architectural lighting. Motion sensors masked as decorative elements. Professional security, but predictable. Jade's seen better. The man waiting in the marble entrance hall is not what she expected. Mid-40s, elegant in a charcoal suit that probably costs more than most people's cars. He moves like water, controlled, purposeful, dangerous beneath the refined surface. When he speaks, his English is flawless with a crisp British accent. Harvard MBA, her research said. Art collector. Legitimate businessman who happens to control Korea's third-largest criminal network. But standing here, watching him assess her with the same calculating intensity she's using on him, Jade realizes something unsettling. This man is her intellectual equal. Maybe her tactical equal too. That's rare. That's dangerous. That's intriguing. Miss Walker, Tai-sung says, and there's something in the way he says her real name that makes her skin prickle. Or should I say ghost? I've researched all 7 of your identities. Impressive survival instinct. You know a lot about me for someone who's supposed to be hiring protection. His smile doesn't reach his eyes. I make it a point to know everything about the people I'm trusting with my life. He gestures toward his study. We have much to discuss. And very little time. The briefing is clinical. Professional. Terrifying. In 6 days, during the Blood Moon Festival, between 50 and 60 professional killers will converge on this compound. Criminal syndicates. Intelligence agencies. Private contractors. All united by one goal, collect the $30 million bounty on Han Tai-sung's head. But here's what makes Jade's instinct scream, the timing is too perfect. The Blood Moon Festival coincides with a 7-hour window when Director Kane's satellite surveillance goes dark. The longest blackout all year. You know Kane, Jade says. Not a question. Tai-sung's elegant mask cracks for just a moment. Pure hatred flashes across his features before he controls it. He killed my wife. He slides a folder across the mahogany desk. These are classified files on Operation Serpent's Tooth. Everything I could acquire about Guatemala. Everything about why you're supposed to be dead. Jade's hands tremble as she opens it. There are photographs she's never seen. Mission briefings marked eyes only, director level. Asset lists. And then she sees it. A witness list. 37 names. People who saw what really happened in Guatemala. 36 are marked KIA or deceased. Only one name lacks a death annotation. Jade Walker. Why am I really here? Her voice is steel, but inside, ice is spreading through her veins. Tai-sung meets her eyes, and for the first time, she sees something that might be respect. Or guilt. Because the assassins coming in 6 days aren't here for me. They're here for you. And I'm the bait that brought you into the open. The room tilts. Every instinct screams trap, but Tai-sung continues before she can move. But I need your help anyway. Kane orchestrated this. He's gathering all the remaining Guatemala witnesses in one place for final elimination. Including you. We can either run separately and die alone, or we can turn his trap against him. Jade should leave. Should disappear into the night. But she's looking at the witness list, at the faces of people she thought were dead, and something crystallizes in her mind. This isn't just about survival anymore. This is about truth. About justice. About finally stopping the running. She recognizes manipulation when she sees it. Taisung is using her, has been from the moment he sent that invitation. But traps work both ways. And maybe, just maybe, two people with nothing left to lose can be more dangerous than any conspiracy. I'll need complete access to your security systems. Full authority over all defensive preparations. And I want to know everything, no more secrets. Taisung extends his hand. When she takes it, his grip is firm, warm, and she feels something she hasn't felt in 3 years. Not trust, she's not that foolish. But recognition. Two brilliant tacticians acknowledging equals across a chessboard. Two weapons forged by violence understanding each other's edges. Deal, he says, and neither of them mentions the way their hands linger a moment too long before pulling away. What Jade doesn't know yet, what she can't know, is that Taisung is already lying. That he knew about this trap before he ever contacted her. That he's risking her life for his revenge. And that somewhere in the next 6 days, guilt will transform into something neither of them planned for. But that's tomorrow's problem. Tonight, they have a conspiracy to unravel and a death trap to reverse. The blood moon rises in 6 days. And two broken people are about to discover that sometimes the most dangerous partnerships start with mutual manipulation and end with something terrifyingly real. Jade's tactical mind never stopped analyzing. Even as she toured the compound's defenses with Taisung's security chief, she catalogued every vulnerability, every blind spot. 14 entry points. 37 guards. Professional, but not military grade. The patterns felt wrong somehow, too visible, too conventional for what should be an invisible threat. She spent the first 2 days dissecting the supposed enemy dossiers. The assassins coming for Taisung didn't move like criminals. Their backgrounds whispered intelligence training, special operations. One name made her breath catch, Maria Santos. Guatemala City. Officially dead 3 years ago, just like Jade. The nights were harder. The first time she found Taisung in his study at 3 a.m., city lights casting shadows across his face, she almost retreated. But he looked up, saw her insomnia reflected in his eyes, and simply poured her whiskey without asking. "My wife loved soul at night," he said quietly, touching a photograph on his desk. She said it looked like stars had fallen to earth. His voice cracked on the past tense. Kane made it look like an accident. Brake failure. But I knew. Jade's fingers tightened around her glass. I watched my team die in Guatemala. Heard them over comms, begging for extraction that never came. Kane ordered the cleanup while we were still alive. Their eyes met across the darkness. Understanding flowed between them, two people who'd lost everything, who knew betrayal's exact weight. When he reached across the desk, she didn't pull away. His fingers brushed hers, warm and solid and dangerously real. She withdrew first. "This is just a contract." Of course, he agreed too quickly. But during training the next day, she felt his gaze tracking her movements. When she demonstrated a knife disarm on his security chief, executing the technique with lethal precision, she glanced up to find Taisung gripping the observation deck railing. Something blazed in his expression that had nothing to do with professional assessment. Their hands touched over the tactical map that evening. Neither moved away immediately. That night, Jade pulled Maria Santos's file again. The woman's face stared back, a ghost, allegedly dead, now coming to kill Taisung for bounty money. Or was she? The realization hit like ice water. These weren't assassins. They were witnesses. The morning strategy session should have been purely tactical. Jade spread the compound blueprints across Taisung's mahogany desk, marking extraction points for witnesses instead of kill zones. Her new plan was elegant: separate the Guatemala survivors from the mercenaries, protect rather than eliminate. Brilliant, Taisung murmured, leaning closer to study her annotations. His hand moved to stabilize the curling blueprint edge. Their fingers touched. The contact lasted 3 seconds. Neither pulled away immediately. When they finally did, Jade's skin still burned where he'd touched her. The security chief coughed awkwardly from the doorway. By afternoon, they were searching the compound's hidden corners for Kane's surveillance network. The wine cellar access required them both to squeeze through a narrow stone passage. Tai-sung went first, and Jade followed, their bodies pressed close in the darkness. She could feel his heartbeat against her shoulder blade, smell the subtle cedar of his cologne. Here, he breathed, illuminating a micro-camera with his phone's flashlight. They found 17 more. Every room. Every hallway. Kane had been watching everything. He'll see? Jade started. Everything, Tai-sung finished, his jaw tight. Their growing closeness. Every stolen glance. Every moment they'd almost touched. That evening, a sniper's laser sight painted Tai-sung's chest during his rooftop call. Jade moved on pure instinct, tackling him as the shot shattered the space where he'd stood. They hit the ground hard, Jade on top, covering him with her body. The terror in his eyes when he realized she was bleeding, just a graze across her shoulder, was raw and unguarded. His hands shook as he cleaned the wound in his private study, despite having steady surgeon's fingers. "I can't lose someone else," he whispered. "Not you. This is just a job, remember." "Is it?" His thumb traced the edge of the bandage with devastating gentleness. "For either of us." The kiss happened like gravity, inevitable. Catastrophic. Desperate mouths, 3 years of isolation meeting, hands tangling in hair and gripping fabric. She tasted whiskey and longing and something dangerously close to forever. They broke apart, both breathing hard. "This is a mistake," Jade said, even as her fingers still clutched his shirt. "I don't even know if I can trust you." "I know." His voice cracked. "But I'm tired of pretending I don't feel this." That night, alone in her room, Jade reviewed the files again. And found it, the timeline that proved Tai-sung had contacted her deliberately, knowing Kane's trap from the very beginning. Her heart shattered in the silence. Morning light felt like an accusation. Jade moved through the compound with mechanical precision, avoiding Tai-sung's gaze during the security briefing. Every time he tried to speak to her privately, she found urgent tactical matters requiring her attention elsewhere. He knew. She could see it in the tension of his shoulders, the way his jaw tightened when she turned away. Guilt looked different on him now, less like the polished crime lord, more like a man watching something precious slip through his fingers. By noon, she couldn't avoid him any longer. "When did you know I was the target?" Her voice was ice in his study, the evidence spread across his desk like an indictment. His wife's files. The timeline. Everything. Tai-sung's careful mask crumbled. "From the beginning." The words hit like a physical blow. "You lured me here deliberately. Use me as bait." "Yes." No deflection, no excuse. Just the brutal truth. "My wife discovered Guatemala. Kane killed her before she could expose him. I wanted revenge. His voice broke. But that's not what this became. The kiss? Jade's throat burned. The connection? All part of the plan? No. He moved toward her, hands raised like he was approaching something wounded. That was real. This, he gestured between them, desperate. This wasn't supposed to happen. She laughed, brittle and sharp. "I trusted you. I haven't trusted anyone in 3 years. I know. God, Jade, I know." His composure shattered completely. "If I could take it back." "But you can't. You used my trauma. You weaponized my loneliness." "Yes. And I hate myself for it." His eyes were wet. "But my feelings for you are real. How would I ever know?" The question hung between them like smoke. She was packed within an hour. Tai-sung stood at the gate, watching her prepare to leave, not stopping her. "The witnesses still need protecting," he said quietly. "Kane will still come. Then protect them yourself. Take the money. Take the files. Disappear." His voice was steady despite the devastation in his eyes. "I'll face Kane alone." Jade made it to the gate before Maria Santos's face flashed through her memory. Chen Wei. 37 others who'd already died. 60 more walking into Kane's trap. Running meant they all died. She turned around, bag still packed, heart still broken. "I'm not staying for you," she said. "I'm staying for them." "I know." Tai Sung's voice cracked. "Thank you." The warmth between them had frozen to professional courtesy that cut deeper than any blade. They worked like ghosts haunting the same house, present but never touching, coordinating defenses with clipped professional exchanges that hurt more than silence. Jade outlined extraction protocols. Tai Sung added tactical refinements. Their minds still moved in perfect synchronization even as their hearts bled in separate corners. The security team noticed. The warmth that had built between their employer and the American contractor had vanished overnight, replaced by efficiency so cold it made the air brittle. Non-lethal defense systems transformed the compound. Electric barriers at every choke point. Medical stations stocked for mass casualties. Safe rooms converted into witness protection zones. Jade's strategy was brilliant: separate the mercenaries from the Guatemala survivors, protect rather than eliminate. Every detail accounted for except the space between her and Tai Sung that grew wider with each passing hour. She caught him watching her from across the command center as she briefed the security chief. His expression held something that looked like grief. She looked away first, hating how much it still affected her. That evening, reviewing final positions, their tactical partnership betrayed them. Tai Sung mentioned southern perimeter weakness. Jade immediately suggested countermeasure. He built on it. She refined. Their eyes met across the tactical display, one moment of recognition that they still fit together perfectly where it mattered least and hurt most. The compound locked down as night fell. Everyone moved to positions. Jade stood alone on the rooftop, memorizing witness faces one final time, when she heard footsteps behind her. "Can we talk?" Tai Sung's voice was quiet, almost broken. "Don't." She didn't turn around. "I know you won't forgive me. But I need you to know. Don't. Not now. If we don't survive tomorrow, then it won't matter." The silence between them filled with everything they couldn't say. Regret. Longing. The ghost of what they'd almost had. He turned to leave, paused at the rooftop door. "For what it's worth, falling for you was the most honest thing I've done in years." Jade stood frozen as his footsteps faded. Only after the door closed did tears finally break free, sliding down her face in the darkness. Below, the city lights blurred. Above, the blood moon began its rise. She wiped her eyes with practiced efficiency. Checked her weapons one last time. Survive first. Feel later. If there was a later. The first wave hit at 9:47 p.m., 12 expendable criminals testing defenses. Jade moved through the compound like death itself, electric barriers dropping them in 8 brutal minutes. Non-lethal, as planned. They needed to survive to testify. At 10:15, 15 professional contractors came harder, better equipped. Jade used the compound's geography against them, pressure plates triggering flashbangs, tear gas flooding corridors, collapsible barriers herding them into capture zones. From the command center, Tai Sung's voice crackled through her earpiece, pure tactical efficiency masking the concern bleeding through every syllable. "North corridor clear. East side holding." "Copy," she replied, nothing more. 27 down. 33 to go. At 10:42, her photographic memory saved everything. The Guatemala witnesses arrived, believing the bounty was real, guns drawn. But Jade saw their faces and everything clicked into perfect, terrible focus. Maria Santos. Chen Wei. Ghost she'd mourned for 3 years, now walking into Kane's final trap. Maria Santos. Jade's voice cut through the chaos. Guatemala City. You're not here to kill, you're here to die. Confusion rippled through them. Some lowered weapons. Others thought it was a trick. Tai Sung's compound-wide broadcast laid bare the conspiracy, Kane's decade of murder, the systematic elimination, the final cleanup operation. Sanctuary offered to those who'd been marked for death. Then the second mercenary wave arrived at 11:08, targeting the witnesses specifically. Everything changed. Jade wasn't fighting assassins anymore, she was protecting them, fighting on two fronts, tactical brilliance pushed to its absolute limit. Tai Sung appeared at her side, leaving the command center despite her protests. "You're not doing this alone." They moved together like they'd been forged for this, perfect synchronization despite the emotional wreckage between them. When Tai Sung took a bullet meant for her, minor wound, but her terror was absolute, the walls cracked. "Don't you dare die on me. Does that mean you care? Shut up and fight." At 11:34, the elite wave arrived. 15 CIA contractors executing Spectre protocols, her former unit's methods turned against her. The witnesses and security fought together now, Jade leading, Tai Sung coordinating. Mid-battle, forgiveness began without words. "East corridor, flanking move." "On it." "Jade, behind you." She spun, neutralized the threat. "Thanks." "Always." The word hung between them like a promise neither dared believe yet. Then at 12:03 a.m., Kane's voice filled the compound through hijacked speakers. "Hello, Ghost. Surprised you're still breathing." Kane's voice dripped through the speakers like poison, gloating and confident. He broadcast to the entire compound, believing he'd already won. Guatemala was never about the cartel, he explained with chilling pride, it was witness elimination for his intelligence black market. 37 people had seen evidence of him selling state secrets. 3 years of systematic murder. Tonight was cleanup, gather every remaining witness in one location, eliminate them all. Bonus prizes, Jade and Tai Sung, the loose ends. Then came the revelation that shattered Tai Sung. Kane had killed his wife because she'd been an intelligence analyst who discovered the conspiracy, preparing to expose everything. The car accident wasn't an accident. What Kane didn't know, Jade had activated satellite recording the moment his voice came through. Every word captured, transmitted to multiple secure servers. Let him confess everything. His elite team breached the inner sanctum, 8 against Jade, Tai Sung, and a handful of exhausted defenders. This was the desperate last stand, every move choreographed by necessity and desperation. Jade took 5 simultaneously, her photographic memory predicting their Spectre protocols. Tai Sung fought 3, both wounded, both protecting each other with instincts that transcended their emotional devastation. Then the critical moment arrived. Jade pinned, attacker's gun to her head, milliseconds from execution. Tai Sung had clear line of sight to Kane's location through the window, the revenge he'd orchestrated everything for, 3 years of planning, his dead wife's justice, or save Jade. The shot cracked through the compound. Jade's attacker dropped. Tai Sung had chosen her. Sacrificed revenge for love. Freed, Jade moved like fury incarnate, taking down the remaining attackers with brutal efficiency. The final opponent hit the ground. Silence fell except for ragged breathing and distant sirens. Across the wreckage, their eyes met. No words needed. He'd chosen her over everything, over vengeance, over his dead wife's memory, over 3 years of consuming grief. Everything proven in that single, impossible choice. Korean intelligence stormed Kane's nearby location, coordinated with witness testimony. The satellite recording served as evidence, every confession, every admission, a decade of crimes documented in Kane's own voice. He was captured alive. The conspiracy exposed. Dawn painted the compound in shades of gold and ash. 60+ assassins and witnesses neutralized or protected. 0 deaths, Jade's non-lethal approach had worked. Medical teams moved through the chaos, treating injuries, none fatal. Jade and Tai Sung sat amid the wreckage, both wounded, both exhausted beyond words. The silence between them felt different now, not cold, but weighted with possibility. You chose me, Jade said finally, voice hoarse. Over Kane. It wasn't a choice. Not really. You gave up your revenge. No. Tai-sung's eyes held hers. I chose a better future over a bitter past. The words hung between them like a bridge across broken ground. Jade felt something shift in her chest, the wall she'd rebuilt after his betrayal cracking, not from force but from truth proven through action. I meant what I said, Tai-sung continued, voice raw. I used you. Manipulated you. I'm sorry. I know. Jade's throat burned. And I should never forgive you. You shouldn't. But watching you choose saving me over killing him. She trailed off, unable to finish. Changed something. Proved something. That your feelings are real. That you're capable of choosing right. Around them, witnesses emerged from safe rooms. Maria Santos caught Jade's eye across the compound, tears streaming, mouthing thank you. 60 lives saved. Justice chosen over revenge. How do we build something real from this? Jade asked. Carefully. Honestly. One day at a time. What if I can't fully trust you? The question hung raw between them. Then I'll spend however long it takes earning it. Years if necessary. Tai-sung's voice held no defensiveness, only quiet determination. What if the past is too broken? Then we build something new. Not despite the broken parts, but with them. Jade studied his face in the dawnlight, exhaustion, regret, hope, fear all visible now that his masks had fallen away. She thought about Guatemala, about 3 years of running, about the kiss they'd shared before everything shattered. About him taking a bullet meant for her. About choosing her over Kane. I'm not saying I forgive everything. Not yet. I know. But I'm saying. I want to try. To see if this can be real. That's more than I deserve. His voice cracked. Probably. But we've both done things we don't deserve forgiveness for. The understanding passed between them, two broken people choosing to build something from the wreckage. Both seeking redemption. Both terrified. Both willing to try. Tai-sung moved closer, slowly, giving her every chance to pull away. She didn't. When his hand cupped her face, gentle despite the blood and bruises, Jade leaned into the touch. This kiss was different from their first. Not desperate. Not uncertain. Chosen, deliberate, honest. A promise to try, to build, to trust slowly. His lips tasted like copper and hope and new beginnings forged in fire. When they finally pulled apart, Jade rested her forehead against his. Don't make me regret this. I won't. I swear I won't. Around them, the compound stirred with activity. Medical teams, investigators, witnesses giving statements. The sun climbed higher, burning away the last shadows of the blood moon. Kane was in custody. The conspiracy exposed. 60 witnesses alive to testify. But here, in this quiet moment amid chaos, two people who'd found each other through manipulation and betrayal chose something infinitely harder, to try building something real. Jade didn't know if broken beginnings could lead to whole futures. But watching Tai-sung's eyes reflect the same cautious hope she felt, she thought maybe, just maybe, they could find out together. 6 months transformed everything and nothing. Kane's trial dominated international news, an international tribunal dissecting a decade of illegal operations. 60 witnesses testified, their voices finally heard. Multiple governments implicated. The intelligence community restructured from the ground up. Jade Walker, officially alive and fully exonerated, watched Guatemala's truth finally emerge from shadows. Stonehang Global Security occupied a glass tower overlooking Seoul. Legitimate now, specializing in witness protection. Tai-sung had spent 6 months systematically dissolving his criminal network, redirecting every resource toward legal operations. Redemption through action, one choice at a time. Their morning coffee ritual had become sacred, 2 mugs, comfortable silence, reviewing protection cases together. Natural partnership flowing seamlessly between professional and personal. Jade caught Taesung watching her sometimes, still amazed she'd stayed, still grateful she'd chosen to try. Do you ever wonder what would have happened if you'd been honest from the beginning? Jade asked, apropos of nothing. Taesung smiled, that rare genuine smile she'd earned through 6 months of patient trust building. Every day. But then we wouldn't have fought 60 assassins together. True. Nothing says romance like shared trauma. Their laughter came easy now, free and genuine. But beneath it, something deeper. Seriously though. I know. Taesung's expression softened. I think we needed the fire to forge something strong enough to last. A knock interrupted their newest client. Maria Santos entered, Guatemala connection coming full circle, now working with them to protect others like her. Some wounds became missions. Some broken pieces built something better. That evening, their apartment felt like home rather than a safe house. Cooking together, Jade chopping vegetables while Taesung handled the stove, domestic bliss mixed with tactical discussion about Kane's remaining network cells. 18 identified. Working on 19. We'll get them all eventually, Jade said. Together. The word held weight beyond the mission. Together through therapy sessions processing trauma. Together through midnight panic attacks and survivor's guilt. Together choosing each other daily despite imperfect beginnings. Any regrets? About staying? About us? Jade moved closer, studying the face she'd learned to trust again. About us? No. About how we started. Every day. But I'm learning to separate the beginning from what we're building now. That's all I can ask for. You know what's strange? I spent 3 years running from everyone. Now I can't imagine running from you. You could still leave. I'd understand. I know. That's why I'm staying. Because it's a choice, not a trap. She kissed him, comfortable and familiar and chosen. I love you. Even though the beginning was a lie. I love you. And I'll spend the rest of my life proving the ending is real. A tablet chimed, new mission briefing. Spectre cell in Prague. 3 witnesses needing extraction. Jade and Taesung exchanged that look, the one that meant everything. Like old times. Better than old times. This time we're choosing it together. 60 assassins. 1 night. 1 woman who refused to surrender. 1 man who chose love over vengeance. A relationship forged in betrayal, proven in fire, built one honest choice at a time. Because the strongest love stories aren't born from perfect beginnings, they're built by imperfect people choosing each other despite everything. If you believe in second chances, if you believe love can emerge from the most broken foundations, if you believe redemption is possible for anyone willing to earn it, then this story was for you. But here's the thing, Jade and Taesung's war against Kane's remaining network is just beginning. There are 18 more cells to dismantle. 18 more chances to see 2 people in love taking down corruption together. 18 more stories of choosing partnership over isolation. Don't let their journey end here. Subscribe now, because you fought alongside them through the hardest night. Don't miss what happens when they face the next 60 together. Hit that notification bell. They need you watching their backs. And honestly? After everything you've witnessed, after every choice they've made to become better, don't you want to see them win? Comment below, could you forgive someone who betrayed you if they proved their love through action? Your answer matters. Your story matters. Jade fought 60 assassins for witnesses she'd never met. The least we can do is witness her future. Subscribe. Because their ending deserves to be real.